Hello, this is Edwin Dearborn, and I am here to talk to you about Premier Lead Systems. And in today's video, I'm going to tell you how I sell Premier Lead services. And then I'm going to do another video on how I generate leads and some ideas that I've seen and used to also generate leads. But this video right here is about how I enlighten people to sell and get them on board with the Premier Lead Systems, where we generate leads with them on Facebook. So let's assume you already have a lead, you already have somebody who's interested. What do I do to sell them? Now, most of the people, in fact, 99% of the people that I'm selling are professional business people. And if you know anything about sales, professional business people want facts. They don't want to hear hyperbole or big adjectives. They want factual information. And they want that factual information to be statistically proven and relative to their industry. So what I have found, and mainly the industries that I've been selling have been real estate professionals, financial consultants, and small business owners. Primarily, I have found that those who are attracted to Premier Lead Systems based on our price point and the fact that it requires an advertising budget are those whose price point is they're going to make a lot of money, meaning they're going to sell a car, a home, a loan, an investment where the commission is going to earn them, or the new patient or new client is going to generate for them thousands of dollars or potentially tens of thousands of dollars. So the lead to them is very valuable. And I have found that financial consultants, real estate agents, doctors, and there's a lot of all of those in the United States and I'm sure across the world, where a good lead is worth its weight in gold. So you want to reach out to those people. So how do I do that? Well, I present the case in a very systematic way, which is I start out and I tell them about the statistics of Facebook. The statistics of Facebook are 70% of all Americans, and if you're outside of America, you can Google this. 70% of Americans are on Facebook every single day, and they're on Facebook for an average of 49 minutes per day. Now, when you get that across to the person, you go, and I ask them, have you ever been to an airport or a Starbucks or a library or a train station and see everybody staring at the mobile device or their laptop? And they say, yeah, everybody is staring at it. I go to a Starbucks, I go to a university, wherever I go in a public place, everybody is staring at the laptop or the mobile device. And I said, Mr. Businessman, if you were to look over the shoulder, I guarantee you that the vast majority of those people that you see on those mobile devices and laptops are either on Facebook, they're watching a YouTube video, or they're checking their email. These are the three primary places, and statistically, this is where the audience is at. So I first establish that Facebook is a major location where a lot of people are at. If he doesn't understand that, and I've had some people tell me, do you think people are really on Facebook? So I have to prove the case clearly that this is where the audience is with statistics. Now, I ask them, is that an opportunity that you want to leverage? I really have to also establish his ambition level, his desire, his want, his hunger, his craving to actually reach into that marketplace. Because if his hunger, ambition, or craving is not there, it doesn't matter how many people are sitting there in the audience, right? He's got to want it. He's going to want it bad. So I also have to establish, how much do you want to grow? Do you want to double your business, increase it by 20%? Okay, good. So here we have the audience. We know where the audience is at. We know they're fixated on this thing called Facebook. We know they're there all the time. That's the opportunity. Do you want to grow? Okay, excellent. Now listen to this, and this is another key stat. There are 40 million businesses with Facebook pages, but only 2 million of them are using Facebook advertising to reach to that large audience. So get that. Only 5% of businesses are leveraging the full potential of their business page. If you're just going to post organic content, I'm telling you, and you're trying to build it with a bunch of likes, that is a slow boat to hell in terms of lead generation. I'm not saying don't do it. You want the organic audience, you want to do those things, but I'm telling you, if you want to tap into the full potential of Facebook, and I'll give you an example. Yesterday I was talking to a doctor in Illinois, and I said, how far would you like to reach your brand? And he said, well, within 25 miles. I said, how many people live within 25 miles? And he's kind of in a small town area of Illinois. He says there's probably 60,000 people within 25 miles. And I said, well, trying to get those 60,000 people to like your page is going to be very, very hard. Or we can use Facebook advertising to bypass all that and put your brand in front of those 60,000 people like right now. Like now. I can target those 60,000, or I can target specific people within those 60,000. If you only want homeowners, who are the homeowners within those 60,000? If you want a certain age group. And I explained to him how we can target those 60,000 people and narrow down by what zip code they live in, their age, male or female, what their interests are, do they own a home, are they ready to move, all these different factors, and aggressively place their brand with these strategic posts to those audiences. So now when he understood that, wow, I can reach 60,000 people, and only 5% of the people are doing anything like this, I said, do you see how that clearly is your competitive advantage? Because here we have 70% of your audience is stuck on Facebook, yet only 5% of your competitors are taking advantage of it. If you compare that to how many doctors in your area have a website, he's like, well, they all have a website. I said, exactly, so that's not a competitive advantage necessarily. How many of those doctors are doing SEO? They're all doing SEO. I said, right, that's not a competitive advantage. But if 95% of the dentists are not advertising on Facebook, and you're one of the only ones reaching to those 60,000 people, do you see how that could be the competitive advantage? He got it, and he's signing up. See, the point is that you have to establish clearly with the brand who is ambitious, and they have to be ambitious to grow. Because if they're not, I don't really pitch them. I don't really explain the facts. Datum number 1, this is where the audience is. Datum number 2, very few people, very few brands in your field are leveraging this. And I simply ask them, I double dare you to call 20 of your competitors in your area and ask them, how's that robust Facebook advertising campaign working for you? And I said, I guarantee you 19 out of 20 will have no idea what you're talking about. What they'll say is, well, we have a Facebook page, but I can tell you right now, having a Facebook page is 1% of the beginning of success of Facebook marketing and advertising. That's, if having a Facebook page was the key to success, then 40 million businesses would be crushing it. And I guarantee you 40 million businesses with Facebook pages are not crushing it at all. The people that are crushing it are the ones that have a Facebook page that are leveraging the full information, data, and technology, which is massive within Facebook, to reach those 70% of Americans who are completely glued. I had somebody reach out to me from Israel. You ready for this? 96% of the people in Israel are on Facebook all the time. So, all you have to do is point out to the prospective client, have you made the observation of people on mobile devices? Have you made the observation in coffee shops and airports and everybody's glued to Facebook? How often are you on Facebook? How often is your mother or your friends on Facebook? See, once they get the realization, they have the epiphany that people are there and a lot of people are there and they're there a lot, quite often. And I also show them that not many businesses are there. That is the distinctive opportunity. Look, what's going to really make it branded? If you're talking to a realtor or a dentist, there's hundreds and hundreds in any area. And what makes a realtor or a financial advisor or any small business distinctive is that their brand is front and center. There's a lot of good realtors out there. There's a lot of good dentists out there. But how does the client or new patient really know who to go to? A study was done that people consume 60% of the time from the very first brand that they find. That means if they Google something or they find something in Facebook, just because they're the first one found, they have a 60% likelihood of being the one that's chosen. So really all we have to do at Premier Lead Systems is make sure that our customer's brand is in front of the audience, in front of their eyeballs, on the very device that they're stuck on all the time. How does our system work? We place content in the feed, not on the right-hand side. We put sponsored content, engaging content that we know that's of interest to the audience, right in the feed. When they click on that ad, they go to another piece of content that makes an offer for the brand. It could be a download of a coupon. It could be a white paper. This is what we work on with the brand is, now we're into the actual strategy of what we promote, how we move them along the sales funnel, the information. And if they land on that blog post or landing page, we now put a pixel in that, which means a code, and we follow that person with retargeting. The national average in the United States is for every 1,000 impressions, 15 people will click on that ad. So what do we do with those special 15 people? We put a pixel in that website and we follow them with additional ads for the next 3 to 4 days. And if they opt into the email list, our system sends them an automated email drip campaign for the next 30 to 40 days. And every 3 to 4 days, we're sending them an email from the brand. And why do we do that? Because the consistent showing of the ads, the consistent retargeting of the ads for those that go to the actual content, and the email drip campaign for those that opt in follows what we call the rule of 7. You've got to impress upon people in different manners 7 times before they go, oh yeah, that brand, right? Coca-Cola knows this. They follow the rule of 7,000. They're going to make sure that you see a Coca-Cola brand 7,000 times over the next year, right? It is, for a marketing campaign to work, you've got to have multiple impressions. And so what the Premier Lead Systems does is by targeting those people, we're putting the ad in front of them over and over and over. Then when the person clicks on the ad, we have a further way of following them through retargeting ads, which is a specific type of ad only for those that landed on the content. And third, we have an email drip campaign for those that now opt in. Guess what happens when he's seeing it on Facebook, when he's being retargeted, when he's getting the email drip campaign? This becomes the obvious choice. And so we know through the rule of 7 and through market research that if they're just in front of that client all the time, they have a 60% likelihood of generating a new lead. It's just repetition. It's top of mind. It's being in front of the guy over and over and over and over. Even Grant Cardone delivered a webinar a few weeks ago, and he said the key to marketing is stalking the client, meaning being in front of that potential customer all the time, over and over and over. That persistence, that constant messaging, he said, is the key to success in sales. We achieve that through Premier Lead Systems. Okay, I've gone over a lot of information, but factually, if you're talking to an ambitious business person and you show them the statistics and the opportunity, they pretty much get it. And they get excited. Now, I do use analogies. One of the analogies I use is fishing. The analogy I use, because my father was a fisherman and took me fishing, is fish where the fish are. And I use that story. My dad took me fishing and he said, fish where the fish are. And Facebook is where the fish are. In fact, I call it Fishbook. And the reason why I call it Fishbook is because all the potential clients are swimming in that pool called Facebook. And how do you catch fish? You put bait. That great content is the bait that we put. And you know that if you've ever gone fishing, you have to cast that bait over and over and over. You know, if you want to land a brown trout or a rainbow trout in Montana, you don't cast once that great bait. You place that great bait over and over. You may have to cast 30 or 40, 50 times before you actually land the fish, before you get a nibble. It's just like that in marketing. Fish where the fish are, number one, that's Facebook. Number two, give them great bait, that's the content, that's the offerings. And then three, repetition. Keep casting that bait in that pool, and guess what? You're gonna get nibbles, you're gonna reel them in, you're gonna land a big fish, and you're gonna eat, right? And that's what a business wants. They want to land clients, and you're gonna have to nurture that. You're gonna have to keep casting in that pool to actually generate enough leads to do business. I hope that this video was informative for you. Again, you may develop your own pattern, but I'll tell you this, small business people, professional people want statistical data, and they want to understand the simplicities of how the system works, which is we're building not a thing, but a lead generation system, something that attracts attention and moves the client through a sales funnel that positions the brand as a leader, as someone who's providing information, educational data, answering their questions. All of this is built into the Premier Lead system. If you have any questions or want to go over this in detail, you can email me at edwindearborn@me.com or reach out to me through Facebook, Instant Messenger, or on Skype. Edwin Dearborn is my handle on Skype. Hope this was informative for you, and look forward to working with you. Bye-bye.